Hey guys, welcome to the new episode. Today I'll be reviewing Season 1, Episode 3 of Alien Earth, Metamorphosis. The episode starts off where the last one left off, where a Xeno had abducted Hermit. So Wendy, she's in pursuit. She catches up. She breaks Hermit free of his holding, and basically after that, the a Xeno is there, and essentially a big brawl happens between the three of them. Where in the end, Wendy is able to use a giant hook to get hold of the Xeno. And there she tries to put it inside some holding, but ends up getting trapped in there with it. But as our hermit scrambles to get the door open to get her free, when he opens it up, Wendy had managed to kill the Xeno. So meanwhile, Smee and Slightly, they are guarding the egg nest that we saw at the end of the last episode. They encounter Moro, and Moro, he questions as to he really questions them as to their childlike behavior, and also puts an implant into Slightly. With that implant that Moro had secretly placed inside Slightly, it's basically essentially a communicator, and basically now Moro is basically spying on the Prodigy crew. So Nibs, she's starting to sort of question on whether or not she made the right decision. I mean, from what I see, it looks like Nib is starting to question the decision she made on becoming a hybrid. Now I've started to see some memes on the internet, comparing Nib, but she looks into the mirror to when Holloway in Prometheus was looking in the mirror and seeing his body sort of deteriorate. So that leads me to believe that Nib is gonna, over the course of the next few episodes, she's gonna start losing her mind. In the aftermath of the Xeno fight, Hermit and Wendy have sustained a lot of injuries, so they are brought back to the Prodigy site along with all these other alien species. And Kirsch now begins studying them and seeing what these alien creatures are all about. Curly, she confronts Cavalier about Wendy being his favorite of the hybrids, and now she wants to prove herself to him in order so that she herself would now become his favorite. In the end, Hermit gets experimented on by Kirsch and Curly. They remove his lung from his body, and they also dissect the Xeno egg. They cut the face hugger from it, and they cut out the Xeno embryo from it, and place it inside Hermit's lung. All the while, Wendy recovers in time, and but then starts to have some sort of a neurological connection with the Xeno life form. So some negatives for me from the episode. I know one would be the fight scene between the Xeno and Wendy. I don't have a problem with Wendy, being able to grab the Xeno by the hook. Some people I've seen on the internet question as to if that or say that hook should have been melted, but no, we've seen like in Alien Resurrection, Ripley ripped out a tongue from a dead Xeno, and there was no acid there. But then again, there was Alien versus Predator Requiem, where the Predator had ripped out the tongue from the Pred alien, and afterwards it was spitting out acid. So, yeah, I guess I guess it's hard for it to say which is consistent. I mean, obviously, want to gear more towards Alien Resurrection, and if that's the case, then yeah, there was no reason for that hook to get melted. I know in a previous episode I mentioned how it's nice that or at least I see the benefit of the alien kills happening off screen, because that sort of leaves you to the imagination. But when it comes to the fight between Wendy and the Xeno, that was behind closed doors. I really wish that didn't play out like that. I really wish we did see the brawl between them, because I really would have been exciting to see Wendy overpower the Xeno and cut its head off. I did previously, say I liked the soundtrack. There were some score moments in this that I didn't particularly like, mostly when Hermit and Wendy were being brought back to the Prodigy site in their stretcher. There was a rock undertone in that scene, and to me, it's like I said with the Tool song being used in the previous episode. Hearing the rock aspect of the song, it just seems out of place for me. A positive I really liked in the episode was the all around acting from Sydney Chandler, Timothy Oliphant, and Bob Cisse. Sydney Chandler, as she was basically running in the beginning of the episodes, she really does look like a machine who's running. Timothy Oliphant, that the moment in the show when he was describing what the facehuggers do and how they need a host to latch onto. Just his monotone delivery of that, I thought was just I thought was awesome. Just just exactly how you expect Android to talk. And Babu Sisi again, I think he really is like the standout actor from the series. I think just the way how just the way he delivers his lines is like sort of like his real like mysterious yet creepy tone. I know when I first watched the show, I was under the impression that Morrow had sabotaged the mission because of like his indifferent attitude towards what was happening. And in this episode, we learned that or at least he claims that he wasn't the one who foiled the mission, and that he's dedicated to his job. That really just showed me how great of an actor he is, because I really did believe that he was behind everything, and he really sells he really sells himself as a cyborg. This episode, I mean, it was also a bit of a learning moment for me, because I really wasn't really sure what Morrow really was. He was called a cyborg, but I was still under the impression that as a cyborg he was just a straight up robot with some human parts. But I learned today that he is a person he's a human with history behind him, with a past behind him, and now it seems that like he was augmented with robotic parts, and but the organic part of him is still alive, as when he was around the eggs were reacting to him. Originally I believe it really. I was first really just under the impression that he was just a straight up robot, like how. But even though he ate food, I thought it was just similar to how Bishop was in Aliens was eating cornbread, and I thought it was just something that was done to make the robot person on the ship just seem more human. Another big highlight of the episode was the scene with the dissecting of the egg, because it's very different from what I've seen before. In the book, one of the books I've read, Alien Prototype, it talks about a scene where there's an experiment on an alien egg, and the egg in this book, or that was described in this book, was acidic. The scientists, they would try to pierce the egg with a needle, and the needle would just melt. And similar in the game Aliens Colonial Marines, if you came across an egg and you would shoot the egg would just completely explode, and it was just acid coming out of it. Whereas in this episode, Kirsch, he was dissecting the egg, and he's able to peel away layers with no acid being splattered onto him. So that makes me believe that maybe the acid that I read from the book and that we saw from the Colonial Marines video game, maybe that acid just purely came from the facehugger itself. Whereas the egg is not, or the egg structure itself isn't not acidic. And it was cool just to see him take it apart and go through and dissect the facehugger, in order to get out the embryo. Overall, this was more, while it started off with the action scene, this was less of an action-packed episode, and it was more of a mystery building episode. Overall, it still got my interest, and hope to see the next episode.